All right, all right. It is now September the 22nd, and I'm officially 38 years old. 2 years ago, we made it official. I'm super excited. I'm a really sentimental person, so it's never about a specific gift or like material things. I really like experiences. I really like memories, and I really like uh, gifts that are like attached to a memory. Um, and so uh, we're going to be on for a little while, and folks are going to come in and out. I've invited some of my favorite people to join, and this will be something that I'll look at probably tomorrow and next year. And 10 years from now, we'll look back at this day and I'll remember when I'm 48 what it was like when I was 38, what some of my ideas were, who some of the people were in my life. And that's really what it is all about. So, if you're just joining, like I said, my birthday was 2 days ago. Please put in the comments what your favorite birthday gifts of all time have been. For me, I've received probably two of the best birthday gifts this year and last year. So one this year, which like Celia Monte says, I remember when I met you through Carlos Calbillo. Yes, Carlos, an amazing man. Carlos taught me a lot. He taught me a lot. There's another young lady who I'm going to bring up who taught me a lot too. She didn't even realize it when she was teaching me, and I didn't even realize it when I was being taught. But as the years have gone on, like those things sort of came to be. And so the first one that I'm going to share actually came from my friend Maisha Smith. Maisha and I have known each other since 2002. 2002. And I do these a lot for people. There's this thing called what is it called? It's tribute.io. I think it's one of the best gifts you can give somebody. And so they did a tribute for me the other day, and I'm going to play it for y'all and give live reactions. Before I do, I'm going to bring to the stage someone who really doesn't need an introduction. I have her art all over my house, literally all over my house. It's she's such a thoughtful human being, and she is such a jewel in the crown that is my life, Miss Akua Fayette. We're gonna bring her to the stage. What's going on, Miss Akua?
Oh, it's going, it's going.
Okay, it's going, it's going. Thank you so much for accepting my last minute invitation to join. I actually got the idea to join to do this while I was on the phone with Miss Akua. Miss Akua we were just chopping it up, and I was like, you know what I want to do? I want to do a live. And so that's what we're doing. And so I'm going to in real time play this this tribute video that was done for me for my 38th birthday. Can you hear that, Miss Tour?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. That is myself to the left and my cousin Miguel to the right. This had to be about, I don't know, I had to be like, I don't know, 4 years old or so. There's that suit. Yep. If you know me well, you've seen me do this pose a time or two. I had to be about 8 or 9 there, and I'm explaining probably Power Rangers or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That is at Uncle. I want to say that was at Stephanie and Perry's house. That's me and my mom.
Hello. A special word to my son, Darrell, on his 38th birthday. God sent you into my life to give me hope and bring me joy. As you grow older, you will face many challenges in life. Just do your best. Laugh, love, live, and always follow your dreams. Always believe in yourself. And remember, you are awesome, and I love you. Happy birthday, baby. From your mom.
Oh,
So what happened in 1986? That song "That's What Friends Are For" came out. Microsoft went public. 93 cents a gallon for gas. A&W cream soda. Oprah had her debut that year, or it might be the year that Darrell Douglas was born. Happy birthday to my brother, Darrell Douglas. I have a bunch of sticky notes right here because doing videos is not my forte, but I do want to talk about Darrell and just appreciate him on his birthday and appreciate who he is to me, other than my brother. So I think about words that describe him, like he's solution oriented and a grinder and a hustler. He's witty and very spontaneous. If you're riding with him, no telling where you're gonna go next. And we've known each other since 1994, when you begged for me and begged for me, and they planned it, and it happened, and we've been stuck together ever since. A lot of people don't know this, I'm a band director, and the reason why I am band director is because I was stuck going to Darrell's football games where he was in the band, and so I really fell in love with marching band and high school band and hearing music and arts and all of that. And before you know it, I'm a teacher, so thank you for that, Darrell. And I do have a couple of memories. We can go down memory lane really quick. Fun fact, Darrell's been in one fight, and it was over his baby brother, somebody picking on him. I wonder who that was. Choking on the Sunny D. I don't know if anybody knows that story. It's a really funny one. I could say Point Blank, Texas, and you might laugh. Lavelle Crawford comedies and Ricky Smiley prank phone calls. And if you know Darrell, like, he has this crazy, witty, funny sense of humor. So my favorite memory of us is the next one. So happy birthday, Darrell. We love you. Enjoy your day. Have a good one. I know if I don't call you tomorrow, you wouldn't care anyway, because every day is your birthday. And so live your life like that, and Godspeed. Love you, bro.
Happy birthday, Darrell. I wish you many more, and may God continue to bless you.
that is Maisha Smith's mom. So growing up, we went to the high. Elizabeth is in the thread. So I went to the high school for law enforcement for 3 years. And so you had to like get in. So it wasn't your home school. So we would often have to ride the bus a lot. Like I don't even remember. Elizabeth, do you remember what time? Did you have to ride the bus too? No, you didn't have to ride the bus. You said, see, you got dropped off. Your parents were well to do. Mine weren't. So we had to catch the bus. And since Maisha was a girl, her mom was like really protective and like, I don't want her waiting at the stop. So I got to take advantage of that because we stayed at the same complex. Sunswept Townhomes on the corner of Sandpiper and West Airport. And so I owe this woman a lot. She would make us laugh. She has a very witty sense of humor that she still has to this day.
Happy birthday, Darrell. I just want to say happy birthday to such an incredible person. I've watched you grow over the years. I've seen your testimony. I've seen you help others. I've seen you be an advocate, a political guru, and so much more. I just wish you the happiest of birthdays. Happy 45th birthday.
45th.
Also, I do have a funny memory, but all I'm going to say is a prank call in 9th grade. That's it. Happy birthday, Darrell.
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday, Doug, aka Dougie Fresh. I hope you have an amazing birthday and an amazing year. I just wanted to stop by, wish you an amazing birthday, and think back to that time we made that decision to in 2 weeks go to Chicago, and what a wonderful night that was. I hope you have a good one. Thanks.
Hey, Darrell. It's Jamie. I just want to wish you a very, very happy birthday. Thanks for all the fun times and laughs. All right, make it a great one.
Douglas, I'm wishing you a happy birthday. young man, with your young self. This is your 30th great year, and I've known you all
That's
of your
Chris.
life
Chris,
because
his
I'm older
birthday is
than
literally
you.
one
So
day
I'm
before
wishing you the
mine.
best.
So
I know
we're the
30
same
great will be great for you because
age
you've
all year
always
except for
done
one
great
day.
things. And you my twin, man. Great minds always have thought alike. So me and you on the same page. Let's do amazing things this year. Happy birthday to you. Much love to you, cuz. Peace.
Happy birthday, Darrell.
Courtney Prosper.
Here I am up here looking like Shaka Khan by the head. Just wanted to wish you a happy birthday. I have so many memories I can think about, but from LECJ to Westbury. But I hope that you enjoy your birthday. May God continue to bless you. May this year bring you love, peace, and all that your heart desires. Hope you enjoy your day.
Happy birthday, Darrell.
Hey friend, hey Darrell. Oh my God, it's your birthday. Have a great time. I know you will. You are always the life of the party. Thank you for all you do. You are like one of the best people I know. So continue being good, continue doing what you do. Just continue being an amazing person. Have a great day.
Happy birthday, my friend. I want to wish you good health and happiness and a fantastic birthday. And I wish you all the best in life and a wonderful day today and always. You will always be our Big Tasty. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Darrell. Enjoy your day. Keep pushing, man. You have accomplished a whole lot at a very young age. Everything that you ever asked me about and say you was going to do, you went and did it. So that is a great accomplishment, and keep on pushing, man. My memory was when I first met you, you came into my business, and when you was working for Top. But keep on pushing, brother. Later.
Hi, Darrell. It's Carla. Just wanted to say happy birthday to you. On the run as always, but I know that you are enjoying your day. Enjoy your day. Have a marvelous day and be blessed tremendously. Love you much. Bye-bye.
Happy birthday to my amazing, incredible best friend. I love you. I thank you for your inspiration in myself, even when I don't see it. I thank you for your encouragement. I thank you for challenging me. I thank you for your support and your accountability. I know that you really like memories, so my favorite 3 memories of us are when we were walking home from the bus stop on West Airport, and that man had a knife, and I was laughing, and you grabbed my hand and was like, Maisha, come on. And then when we were crossing on Sandpiper, in that truck, he hit a bird, and the bird exploded. And the final one was when the pranks. You know, the one that always makes me laugh is when you called and asked, could they accept animals? And the lady said, what kind? And you said a dinosaur. Okay, and an honorable mention is when we got Precious baby daddy, mama, she agreed to praise this at the funeral, ride in the hearse. So thank you for 20 years of laughs and good memories. I hope this year brings you lots of peace, happiness, love, prosperity. Happy birthday. Bye.
Happy birthday, Darrell. God bless you. I hope you have a blessing day for your birthday.
Rhythm under the stars.
Oh. All right. So that I would say is in the running for top 2 best gifts of all time. Probably because I'll get to go back and look at it over and over and over. But Chanel and Mr. Cool, you could turn your phone sideways and it'll make you fill the screen. Okay, if you do it the long
Turn it
way.
sideways?
Yeah, sideways. And then what it should do, it should
Oh,
read. It didn't do it for you? Well,
Side
you're
up?
fine. Well, you may hey, it may be you. Let's see. Maybe Chanel is gonna try it too.
Something?
No, it's fine. It works this way. I can still see you, but I thought if you did it the other way, it would look different. But shout out to y'all for doing this at the very last minute.
It was fun. It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
What? Go ahead, Mr. Kua.
the walk home from school was very exciting at times, wasn't it?
Yes. So the 2 stories that Maisha mentioned, I remember all 3 of those. There was a guy with some kind of mental episode going on, and he had a knife, and he was at the median, and Maisha was like, and I was like, let's go. And the other one with the bird. So I don't know if you've ever seen something run over a bird, but they literally do kind of like explode like the cartoons, and feathers kind of go everywhere.
That was horrible.
Yeah. Not a lot of blood, but it was feathers everywhere. But yeah. So do any of you have interesting stories, funny stories, or interesting stories, or thought-provoking stories? I see Moretta Montgomery is here, and Doreen Howard. Thank you for joining. Do any of you have?
I grew up, well, we really didn't have birthday parties. We were kind of just glad to, eat and survive and happy birthday. And that is all I can remember from that. But I do remember we would, do special things a little bit for Christmas or Easter. And one of the Easters was one of the greatest things in my life that I remembered as a child. And it has really carried through my life even today. I'll never forget the people. They were the couple that lived right across the sidewalk in front of us. We lived in duplex, little crowded community. And, they drank beer and got drunk and fought on the weekends. And people would say, oh, what horrible numbers. But let me tell you something. If I had $1 million, I'd give it to them. They actually took me to Pasadena, let me shop, but what they were doing. Remember I told you about that? Mm-hmm. I actually shopped for their niece because she was my size, and it was okay. I picked the prettiest dress, the prettiest socks, the prettiest underwear. Then it came to the shoes. I had a problem because I wanted black baby doll patent leather shoes, and I knew I couldn't have them. And I thought, I'm not getting that kid these shoes because I want them. I'm gonna get her these other shoes. Then a story that my father told me came to my mind. And though I didn't think it was going to work for me, the story stuck with me. That's why as a storyteller, I tell people, if you want kids to learn, tell them a story. And he told me the story about a carpenter. And eventually the carpenter was asked to build the 3rd house for the rich man. I'm making it short. And the carpenter, and the carpenter says, well, you've already got a beautiful house. I built you before. He says, I don't care. Build this one and put as much money as you want into it. Make it the most beautiful house I ever had, or just whatever you want. Just do it for me. And the carpenter got angry because he didn't have a home built. And he just started doing stuff that would be hid and camouflaged. And he cheated the man. At the end of the job, the man said, what do you think about it? He said, I think it's a good job. And he thought, he's old. He's not going to live to really know all I didn't do. And the man says, the house is yours.
Look at that.
That came to me. I was about 8 years old, but I went home and cried because I never went getting the clothes. And then a knock on the door. And everything I shopped for was for me, man. And it was like the story of my life. Every neighborhood.
You should have picked her the shoes.
I did pick those black patent. That's why I picked them, because I thought of the story and I said, get her what I would want to have. And to this day, I have outsold artists, because when people say bring a piece of art that you can give away, I give it like I'm selling a big piece of art, and mine is always the biggest. And I end up, getting from it because you give what you want.
Speaking of, so that tied, which y'all just saw, was tied for the top spot. And Charnel and Liz, I want y'all to start thinking about a story that we share that's funny or thought provoking, or But this is what Miss Akua got me last year. She loves a big piece of art. Okay, it won't even fit in the screen, but this is one of my favorite gifts of all time. If you've been to the Black House, it is the first thing that you see when you walk in. And last year, I want to say this had to be, I call it the National Auntie Convention, because it was like all y'all remember? I forget what that was even for, but I had a house full of aunties. Like everybody was 35 plus, and some of my aunties were there too. But this is so Miss Akua has a thing called the Black Canvas Project. And so everyone, I'm gonna hold it up so y'all can see some of what it says. So everyone got to like write something like this one. I think Charnel, you're on here. Let's see, where's Charnel?
She was there.
She was there. She's an auntie. She's over 30.
Yes.
Yeah, she's over 30.
I was auntie when I was 2 years old. I've been auntie all my life.
Charnel's here's Charnel's right there. So Charnel said right there, see right there, a leader. What did she say? A leader amongst us all, and then she wrote her name. So what she does, everybody writes something. Liz, we have a wedding coming up, a new day, a new Malay. She's going to be Mrs. Anumale next year. This would be a great idea for the reception, where everybody would write something, and then what Mr. Akua does, she takes the energy from the room and she actually turns it into a piece of art, which is up there, right? Let's see.
Save it for the middle.
Let's see. There you go. Boop. Right. Save it for the middle, and then I will read to y'all because there's an explanation for it, right? And I keep this. Mr. Cool, you'd be surprised how many times people have stopped and asked, like, "Oh, what is it?" And I'll go get this. So
you're so full of everything, Darrell. It's kind of hard to put you in just one spot. So I had to kind of take a little bit of everything.
Yeah. So she says the top present moves to make brought on by lessons learned left to right. So there are 25 yellow blocks of opportunities that will be a lesson, but most will be positive blessings. The present situation of Detroit has brought on a future leading wealth and housing and political position, as he will make an impact for them to remember as he has through his life. Am I breaking up for y'all? Okay. The black and white represent the prison system where I've gained so much knowledge. Orange is Houston Justice. The prison system has certain colors: red, orange, yellow, green, gray, and of course black and white. That's what they stand for, red being the most dangerous, orange the next. At the bottom is where Darrell started. He was only about 6 years old when my family moved to South Park to make a difference. Darrell found a way to sell instruments. You see the trumpet there? See the trumpet? Yeah, at the bottom. Yeah, and the entrepreneurial life ahead. This is where Darrell was grounded among the people, looking for solutions, not to just be one in the hood, as he would say. So, yeah, Mr. Cooler, thank you for that. But yes, Liz.
You're such a good example, Darrell. You're such a good example, and I think hanging around you make me attack people when they attack young people, because they don't know a lot of young people. They don't know they sure don't know you. And when they say things like it's horrible, they don't. I said, you don't know, and I tell them about you. I've given you some advice, or I've told you about a book, and you don't read it once. If it's something that. And the one that I shared with you, I don't even share with everybody because they wouldn't get it.
Right.
But you read it 6 times.
Absolutely. Charnel, Liz.
And I'm telling y'all right now, y'all witness to this while we're talking right now, because if it doesn't happen, I'm going to protest. When Darrell gets to the White House, me and Miss Tina is going to be inside to visit. And if he doesn't let us in, we're going to picket it.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, listen. Charnel, Liz, go to bed. You see, Dolce wants to he wants to be on the screen.
See, don't she not like my dogs?
Say,
My dogs are laying down, meditating sleepily because they know I'm on the phone. They came in
No,
to talk to me, but they knew I was busy. I'm gonna send them over to teach Doji.
right? I see
But he's talking a
Jacqueline
lot.
Parsonage is watching. We used to work together. But Liz, Charnel, y'all have a story, memory?
oh, everywhere we would go, I would always be like, Darrell never meets a stranger. Like, I never really speak to strangers that much. Like, if I go somewhere, I'm really quiet, got to get to know folks first, but not Darrell. Darrell, like, everybody you talk to, you just, like, nobody's a stranger. But what's the key, like, one of the most, like, nearest things that you did that was I remember me, my cousin Makisha, who's my matron of honor, and Alicia, who's I'm sorry, maid of honor, and then Alicia's my matron of honor. We were downstairs waiting for him to come down so he could show us one of the rooms where my bridal shower is going to be. And Darrell comes down. And he literally is like business at the top, party at the bottom, like blazer and a button down at the top. And then I think he had some shorts and some type of slippers on. And I
Yep.
was like, Darrell, what do you have on?
Yeah.
So it's never a dull moment with you. Like, that's what's so hilarious. Like, even in high school, like, there was never a dull moment. So anywhere we would go, anywhere, whether it was in Dallas, in Houston, anywhere, you never meet a stranger. There's no such things as a stranger with you. And then it's just always like we always have a good time. You're just the life of the party.
This what's up. Thank you. Thank you for that. Charnel?
Yeah, he doesn't meet a stranger. That reminds me of when we were at Lucille. We decided to go to Lucille's to link up, and they were on their like break, like when they're closed for a period of time. And there was a family there that was visiting Houston, and it was these group of people that Darrell befriended while we were waiting, and they were treating their mom to. It was her birthday, so they were bringing her to see Anita Baker. We ended up going to the Toyota Center to buy tickets to go see Anita Baker that night, which led to a lot of memorable events. If y'all know, Anita Baker has questionable stage things that she had going on. So just things like that. And then also like Darrell, I don't know if I should say.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, I'm open book.
Darrell be pulling them. I was like,
Listen.
is that you?
Listen. It's a roster. It's a roster.
I see how we doing it. I see what is happening here.
Exactly. Listen, I try. I do what I can. I do what I can.
You do what I can. You do it well.
Yeah. And I would say for all three of you too. So like Charnel, I met because Charnel's name she was considering running for school board. And so like I reached out and she's been along for the ride ever since. Liz, we went to high school together. Miss Akua, I met, as she said, through TOP, Texas Organizing Project. And that was a ride. Miss Akua kept me out of a lot of stuff because I used to be more of a firecracker than I am today. Still a firecracker. But I've got some questions for y'all. So I'm 30 great now. And everybody else is in here has some seasoning. Some have a little more seasoning than others, right? Some are Cajun blackened tilapia, and some are lightly toasted, right? But I've got some questions. And for those of y'all that are watching, feel free to answer as well. What's the most significant change you noticed in yourself between 28 and 38? So if you're not 38 yet, like Charnel, you can just between you know,
28
10
and now.
years. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, within the last 10 years. Okay, I guess I'll go first since I'm. Oh, go ahead, Elizabeth.
I'm just gonna say I'm not like you. Well, I'm still a firecracker, but I'm not as much of a firecracker. Like, you know, I grew up with boys, so naturally, you know, even though I'm prissy, likes to fight a little bit, that has really toned down like within the past 10 years. So yeah, just not as much of a firecracker, still one, but not as much, I guess I would say. Yeah.
And I guess to make it even within the past 10 years for other folks that are gonna answer. So Charnel, Mr. Kaur, either of you want to come off mute and give us a piece? Mr. Kaur, you're muted. You gotta unmute. I can unmute you. Hold on a second. There we go. You should. Yeah, there you go. Wait, you muted yourself again. Hold on a second. Let me click it. Okay, now we can hear you. You, Mr. Kaur, you keep muting yourself. You don't touch it. I'm gonna do it. Okay. Let's see. Unmute. Boom. It can't unmute your guests because they chose to mute themselves. So then you've got to unmute yourself. Will it allow you? And while you're waiting, if Liz Liz, you already answered. Charnel, you want to answer?
Yeah, I guess.
It's not
Now you're unmuted. Okay, and then you muted yourself again. But go ahead, Charnel.
Yeah, I guess a big change that I've noticed about myself. I guess I would say there we go. Is that better?
Yeah, it's better.
I guess I would say I'm more action oriented now. I'm more in the space of, oh, I want to do that, and then I just do it. And I try to make it a practice of doing that with any small thought. Like it starts with a very small thoughts, like, oh, I want to make a strawberry, lemonade. Like, instead of being like, oh, that would be fun. Like, okay, I'm gonna get in the car, I'm gonna go to the store, I'm gonna get the ingredients, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna make it. Like, those small nuances are adding to, or like making it a practice and a habit to just, filter out thought, like making sure that any thought that I have, I'm executing on, and it's helping with practicing like alignment and, understanding like how powerful thoughts are. Absolutely. So I would say that's, the biggest thing I've noticed within the last, not just 10 years, but, the past couple of months, I'd say.
Good. That's what's up. Mr. Kaur, you want to unmute and go next?
Is that it?
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Okay. So you want the last 10 or you want when I was 27, or which one are you asking for?
The last 10.
Okay. Oh, you was going by y'all ages, like last 10 years. Oh, right. Okay. Because that's way back. But I can remember the day that I bent over the tub and I was 27 and I jumped back up. I'm going to be 30. And after that, I never let age affect me. I didn't care. I still don't now. The last 10 years have been awesome. COVID was my gift. To literally put me in a house and I can't go out and see nobody or do nothing was like a fox in a hen house. After I got through being sick and I learned how to not be sick while being in COVID, because I'm never sick. But I was looking at some stuff and I found out the vibration of the universe is 3 letters, and you can only say those 3 letters without moving your tongue. And it's which happened to be my second name that was given to me about 4 years out. And I practiced that vibration that night when I was the sickest and I couldn't even hold the phone because I was so sick. Yeah.
You ever seen Waiting to Exhale? No, it was Tina Turner.
Yeah, but you don't move your tongue. say all three alphabets, and those are the only alphabets. And it is said that that is the sound of the beginning of the universe. So I did it, but I couldn't do it very long because I was so weak, when you can't hardly, breathe. And so I just put the phone on and let Sagrua do it. And he had a 21-hour chant or something going. And I woke up the next morning and I said, I'm going to see if I feel better. And I moved a 12-foot half split Roman column that had been lying in the floor between the living room and the den for about 5 months that my husband said he was going to put up, and I put it up by myself. I pulled the bookcase over. If it failed, it wouldn't hit the fireplace. I got a drill out and I put some kind of L bracket on it, and it is still standing. Though I've got the house, so it's kind of like standing, but it's not going anywhere. That's when I realized that I was onto something. And since then, I've been really working on manifestations, working on my inner spirit. I have gone 5 years without telling a few people or businesses off that I've been ripped off, and I really want to just tell it to them. But something tells me to not speak and be quiet and let the universe take care of it. And so I'm different in that way. I've calmed down. I'm working on some other things, but yeah, I'm ready.
That's really good. I think I took a little bit from like each of y'all. I would say for me, 10 years ago, I thought I had to go to everybody's stuff. I had to go to every event. I had to answer every call. I had to reply to every text. I had to reply to every email. And looking back 10 years ago, I wasn't present. I wasn't there to actually embrace the moment. And so now the rule that I go by is this. If I miss your text, or if I have a boundary that tells me, hey, I don't feel like doing this thing today, or, for some reason I don't want to fall into, right? Like if me missing your text means you don't want to be my friend anymore, you're never really my friend in the first place. If me not attending your pool party, even though I don't know how to swim and I don't like being outside, is enough to make you cut me off, It was meant to happen better sooner rather than later. And to what Charnel said, yes, just knocking stuff out whenever I can now. And if you've probably been like in my presence on the phone or whatever, and I'm like, I'm going to do it now, because if I don't do it now, I'm not going to do it. That has allowed me to hone in and polish and sharpen like my decision-making skills. So I'm able to make decisions swiftly and know whether this is a yes or a no. Most things are a yes or a no. Very few things are a maybe. And if it's a maybe and it's too late by the time I want to come back from a no to a yes, then it wasn't meant to be in the first place. That's that 38 wisdom. All this gray in my beard, and I actually like it. I'm gonna tell y'all, for those of y'all that are watching, I was afraid of 30. Let me tell you something. I have to reel it in a little bit. The gray in the beard moves mountains and opens doors. Yep. And a lot of other stuff. So with that, we're gonna go to the next question. I actually got actually a list of these. So what is a piece of advice you'd give to your 18-year-old self? What is a piece of advice you'd give to your 18-year-old self? I will start with Liz, the future Mrs. Anumale. Am I pronouncing that correctly, by the way? Let me tell you something, because you're a teacher. You teach what? Second grade? First
First
so
grade.
I'm modeling it for everyone else. They will hear it from me.
So you know how to say it right.
Well, and they'll get used to it. They'll get used to it before, yeah.
What would I tell my 18-year-old self? Don't be afraid to cut them off. And I say that because I think for a very long time I was friends with
You froze a little bit, Liz. Thank you very much, Miles Miller from Detroit. What up, though? I will be in Detroit next week. I forget which day of the week. I think Thursday or Friday. I will be there. Liz, you froze. Charnel, you want to hop in with it? The question is, what advice would you give to your 18-year-old self?
I guess the same thing. Not so much cutting someone off, but if something ends, let it die. Like, the trying to allow things to come back is just like, it's not a good idea. Just let it die and be done and be dead. Don't try to rack your brain around, what could make it different or better, or why did this happen? Focus on the what. It did happen and move on. Better is yet to come. It gets better with age, it gets better with time, it gets better with distance, but let it die. Let it be done.
Yes, Mr. Cool. Mr. Cool, you have to unmute yourself.
When I was 18, I told myself so much that's why I am who I am today. The only thing different that I would have told myself is go for the money and keep the same attitude while you need it. I didn't think about it that way. I really didn't. My thing was integrity, walk away from this, walk away from that. But I still could have looked at it as a tool and not went after it in the right way. But I didn't. I just kind of blased it. And it's also because of the way things are taught. People need to teach their children about money, the respect for money, the use of money, and the spiritual aspect of money. And that's what the Jewish people do. And then that way you get it and you can create with it. You can make things happen with it. If you've got a positive, creative, good mind, you can do a lot of good stuff. And I just didn't. I just wanted to do good and be able to help a few people. And I've done that. Now that's not enough.
That's what's up, Mr. Cool. You always help. And you got a little bit of an echo.
You know what? I'm going to come in the room and really tell y'all some things y'all need to know about growing up and life and marriage and all that stuff. But I'm going to tell you right now, nothing stays the same. Everything changes. And at some point, you got to always know, be true to yourself, love yourself, and look out for yourself. And then be still generous with other people, but self first.
Ooh, wow. Mr. Cool, I'll take it. I think I'm ahead on that one. Oh wait, Mr. Cool, you have to wait. Mr. Cool, you have to go ahead.
I think you're doing a good job. I want to tell you something. I did something to you that I generally don't do to anybody, but that's what I do now. But you were my first person. I think if my best friend can't take it, I could care less about anybody else. Remember you asked me to sign some stuff for something that we were doing, and those ladies were just taking over and blah, 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 blah. And I told you no. Which thing? You wanted me to sign some voting thing or something. And I told you no.
When was it? How long ago?
When was it? It was about 3 or 4 months ago. You had all these ladies and they were just running and talking and blabbing and not giving people a chance to speak. Just, if you don't give me a chance to speak, it's bad.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about at that event
I was being nice and quiet and saying, I'm going to open the room. I'm going to be quiet and let everybody go, and then I'll see what I have to say. And, the thing was going on and on, and the person kept going back. I'm out of here.
Yeah, I remember that.
Then you came up and said, you sign these papers before you go. I said, no.
Let's pay.
Oh, boy.
What?
And I felt bad later. I said, well, I wasn't doing it to you, Darrell, but really.
No, I knew. Yeah.
I
remember. It was a survey. Mm-hmm. So the next question is, how has your definition of friendship evolved over the past 10 years?
Say that.
And how has your definition of friendship evolved over the past 10 years? Starting with you, Charnel.
Evolve. I don't know if it's evolved. It's just changed because of age. Like, the type of friends friendships that I am in, they're very like serious. I would say, like intimate, intentional, giving, loving, like it's just changed. So now that I'm getting older, people are having children or getting married or, expecting or purchasing homes or becoming closer with God or, being more involved in church. So they have not evolved like the nature of the friendship is still love or it's still intentionality or it's still honesty. It's just the way that it shows up is different. So the way that my friend as a new mom, we may not be able to interact on the phone all the time, but now I come over and I engage with her and the baby. So it's grown, I'd say. Friends who are now with married or engaged. It's like, oh, I have an extra friend now, in that way. So I guess I'd say, I don't know, that I appreciate them more now because it takes a little bit more to be a friend with your lifestyle changing in that way, but they're pretty much still kind of the same.
And to that point, I remember when that first started, because I'm 38 now. And if I'm not mistaken, you're like 5 years younger than me or somewhere about. I think that's around the time that stuff really started. I think the critical mass like really started getting married, having kids. Like I think before that, it sort of trickled in. Of course, you have your 16, 17s, you have your, oh, my mom is joining. Okay, thank you very much. Mom, we can see you. You're fine. But it'll be great if light, but even without light, that's great because you're here. But to Charnel's point, she was just talking about how like a lot of her friends are now getting married, they're having children, and so it takes more for those friends to like interact in the way that they used to. You know what I realized, Charnel? And it was a hard realization to accept. But whenever someone gets married, whenever they start having children, even if they get in a relationship, you're now connected to a different version of that person. They're still the same, but a new mother will never be the same because it's always going to be, oh, I got to get a babysitter. Oh, I got to this.
That's not true. That is not true for everybody.
How old is the baby? How old is the baby? Because let me tell you.
It depends on the lifestyle. It depends on the lifestyle and the type of person that one person wants to be as a mother. If that person still wants to have their own individual life, I have had to find myself saying, so and so has a baby.
Yeah.
So and so has a kid.
Yeah.
Because they are so the intention was I don't want to lose my life after having this child. And they made that a point. But then on the other end, I do have a friend that's like, so and so is not their child. You get on the phone, it's like, oh, say hey to the baby. And then on the other end, it's like, where is the baby?
Yeah.
So it depends on the person. It really does.
Yeah.
It's a
not like they
personality.
change totally, but they change like a little bit. It's like that version, the version of this friend when y'all were in college, when y'all were running the streets, like it's just a little different now. And
that's what I'm saying. There's one person I'm like, I have to remind myself that they have, because nothing has changed other than the fact that I have to be aware. It's like, okay, they do have a child, so let me still try to be considerate, even though they're trying their best to act like they don't have any.
They don't have a child.
Yeah.
If I could give myself a piece of advice from 5 years ago, it would be, oh, it's gonna sound so bad, but it's the truth. You have to find friends that are also in your like bracket. So it's fine to keep those day one friends, but you'll find that it's, I won't say easier, but it just makes more sense when you keep some more. Oh my gosh, childless friends. I'll just say it. Because here's the thing. Because it's going. Listen, it's going to change. It's just like now I have a dog, so I'm not one of those. It's like, oh, I gotta leave this thing because like I plan ahead.
Exactly. So, like, okay, to that point, you are not the typical dog owner.
Right.
And some people be like, you get what I'm saying? You can kind of look at that as, oh, it's not the same as having a baby. But the point that I'm making is the traditional way that you would view someone. Some people have a lifestyle where, the added elements of life do not compromise who they are and the way that they show up.
That makes sense. Mom, I'm going to throw it to you. The question is, how has your definition of friendship changed in the past 10 years or so?
A lot, because you live and you learn, and everybody is not meant to, how could you say, travel with you. You know how it's like this. I'd rather have 4 solid quarters than
That is true. That is so true. And I think a lot of, going back to what Charnel said earlier about the being intentional about like getting things done, I think it's better to have 4 things that you're really focused on and you're serious about carrying down the line than to have 10 things or 20 things that, don't really count. And then I don't think that you necessarily cut people off, but there has to be that understanding that there are going to be some restaurants that you go to that some of your friends are going to say, what? That's too high. What are you doing? This and that, or a trip that you may want to go on that just doesn't work for somebody else's life, but that doesn't mean that you don't get to do it.
Right.
Go lay down.
He wants to be in this.
He wants to be in the thing. Yeah. But Mom, everybody, this is the Cheryl Douglas. So 30, and our birthdays are 6 days apart. 6 days apart. So
whose birthday is first?
My mom's comes first. So I was her 20th birthday present. Yeah. So, Mom, earlier I asked them, because this is my birthday stream. First of all, thank y'all, everybody, last minute. I sent y'all a link and y'all joined. So, like, I'm forever indebted to y'all. And I'm not going to hold y'all too much longer. We got like 15 more minutes, FYI. Mom, and if you don't have an answer right now, we can skip it and we can go to the next question. But I want you to think about a funny and an interesting story that we share from any age of my life. That was just like an aha moment.
I have one.
Oh, go ahead, Mom.
Okay, we were on the Metro bus.
Okay, how old was I then?
You had to be about 3, maybe 4.
Mm-hmm.
I would say 4. Had to be about 3, right on the bus. But anyway, we were talking back and forth. You were asking questions like, and some kind of way you said it out loud.
I said what?
Oh, embarrassing.
What did I say? Wait, it went blank for a minute.
Ponytail on or something. Why do you have something like, why do you have somebody else's hair or something like that? And you said it as a little kid. It had to be about 4, 3, I guess 4.
Yeah.
But the high pitch voice, I think they heard all over the bus.
True to form.
And you reached to try to pull it off.
Oh my goodness. Do you have another one? Thank you very much, Sherry Dorr. Sherry Dorr, amazing philanthropist, Food Not Bombs,
I remember
et cetera.
when I was pregnant with Devontae, and you and your dad went to the doctor with me. And the doctor was asking me what all was I eating. So she was going down the line, are you eating a lot of cookies? You know, because I had, you know, become diabetic. And you, everything I would say no to, you was like, yes. Yeah. Mom, you cookies. Mom, you eat ice cream. Mom,
Yes.
you always eat. You, I was like, okay, can they step out?
HIPAA violations. Yes. Yes, those were the days. I remember being young, and y'all, if you're watching in the comments, feel free to answer along too. What were some of your weird cravings or favorite things as a child? I wonder if my mom remembers this. I used to like ketchup. I loved ketchup. I would hide ketchup packets, and and yes, like you go to Jack in the Box or whatever, and I would keep the ketchup packets. And then I would later learn ketchup is full of sugar, so it was like candy for me. But put yours in the comments. And Liz, Charnel, Mr. Kua, any interesting childhood cravings from y'all, or anything you ever want to ask my mother? Now I will veto y'all. I will cut your mic. Okay. Anything you've ever wanted to ask Darrell's mom, now's your time. And she's got this really, like, I got this new light. Right, I'm gonna show y'all. I got this light over here.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What they got to do with asking your mama a question?
Because she's in the darkness. Because she's in the darkness, and she needs a light.
You throw a shade. You try to be passive. Okay. Okay, I have a question. Hand up. All right. So it always perplexes me when somebody is just like so amazing, and then I hear about like their past jobs. I'm like, what, you used to shine shoes, and now you work at the White House? How'd that work out? When did you find out like how amazing Darrell is? But also like, in looking back, it's like, now you could have been doing better, or you could have been achieving more. Looking at how well you doing now, like, what's the
Darrell has always, from way back in elementary school and kindergarten. I mean, first grade, he was like the smartest kid in all class. He was the teacher's favorite kid. I'm telling you, no problems with Darrell. I mean, the spelling bees, the he had me on edge. Just he was like the best actor in school. I mean, he was the number one. How do you say it? In the plays and everything, he was like the most important person in the play. He had the lines that he had. I was like, my child will never learn. Darrell did it like a pro. Okay, he was just a smart kid from day one. From day one.
Okay, so we all know he's smart. What was the thing where it's like, okay, you in here pretending, you here cutting up, acting like you ain't got no sense. Like, what was that?
He never really acted like it until he went to, until he graduated. That was the I was shocked. Because he did excellent all his years until the last year. When he got over there in HISD.
Westbury, yes.
Westbury, my child.
Do you remember any specific stories for Westbury, Mom?
What I thought you wasn't gonna.
Yes, I wasn't going to graduate. Very interesting story. So senior year, so I go to law enforcement for 3 years, right? So get into the high school for law enforcement, go there for 3 years. The summer of 11th grade year, I'll never forget. Mom had that 99 Camry, and we had stopped by the mailboxes and we checked the mail, and one of the pieces of mail was from my school, and it said, "Don't come back, go to your home school." And I was like, "Oh, no, 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 we'll fix it. I'll talk to Dr. Morris." Dr. Morris was the principal. We'll be good. She was gone. Carol Mosteed was there. I think Carol Mosteed is still over there. And so I go to Westbury, and I remember the first day of school, we have this assembly, and they're explaining that only 30% of the seniors are on part to graduate because everybody failed at least one part of the standardized test, which was new. That was like a new rule for the year that I graduated. And so I had passed all that. That wasn't when my problem came in. My problem came in because I was addicted to skipping school. So, like, you skip a day here and there. And so Dr. Vera Askew calls me to her. She was at that assembly. Like, this is maybe 3 or 4 months later. This is spring semester. So we have an assembly, and she's like, some of y'all are not going to graduate. You know who you are. And I'm thinking she's talking to everybody else. And she's like, y'all will get called to my office and this and that. So I get called to her office. Keep in mind, I'm a senior, so I'm only going to school half a day. Mm-hmm. And I thought she was calling me because one of my classes was like counselor helper. So I thought she was calling me for that reason. And she's like, "So you're not going to graduate. Do you want to call your mom or do you want me to call my mom?" The words wouldn't even come because I had taken my school pictures already. Like, what do you mean I'm not graduating? I'm Darrell. Like, I'm walking across the stage, right? So, see, Mom, I can tell you this now. So what I did, I called Maisha's number. And her number's been the same since high school. And I knew.
Now, why did you have to drag her into it? You could say I called a friend.
And here's the thing, because I knew Maisha would go with it. Okay. I knew I would call and she would say, "Hello." And I'll say, "Mom, it's Darrell." And she would just go with it. She would just go with it. She would just go with it. And I knew that if she didn't pick up, that her number was one of those, "You've reached the voicemail of 281," whatever, right? So luckily she didn't answer. And I was like, "Mom, it's Darrell. Dr. Askew really needs to talk to you. She says this is very important. She says I'm not going to graduate, this and that." Well, I go into econ mode. Y'all remember Gulf Shores Academy? Well, now I know why they don't exist anymore, because they had it to where they had this thing called credit recovery. And so I just basically paid to recover all those credits and I got to graduate. Yeah. Yes. Liz?
That was crazy. I mean, not to have an enterprise.
What'd you say?
All those years, and for you to get to your senior year, and
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Yeah. It was senioritis for sure. It was senioritis for sure.
HISD.
Yes.
Were you skipping school at law?
I wasn't skipping school at law enforcement. And I'm going to mute you, Miss Akua, because you have an echo. But I wasn't skipping school at law enforcement. Here was the problem at law enforcement. Okay, I'm going to let y'all in. I'm going to really let y'all in now. How I got kicked out of law enforcement. So I was never a bad kid. I did not get in fights. I was not smoking weed under the bleachers. Like, you didn't have those problems at law enforcement in the first place. But what I was the class clown. And if I didn't want to have class, we were not having class. Y'all remember, do you remember Mr. Huff, Liz? I remember Mr. Huff. He was this, he was really old, middle-aged white guy, big guy. And I remember we were going back and forth. Me and Andrew Berry, Reverend Andrew, yeah, that one. we would go back and forth, just ranking on each other and just, And I remember the day I went too far, I said, Mr. Huff, what are you going to do? Are you going to huff? You going to puff? You going to blow? And he had this look in his eye where I knew I had hit a nerve. And that wasn't even one of the worst jokes. And then I was kind of shocked because I was like, that's what pushed you over? Like I've been, but Miss Javers, Liz, you remember Miss Javers? Miss Javers, let me tell you what she taught. She taught detention and yearbook. Okay. And Miss Javers had a personal vendetta against me. Okay. And so I would get all of these detentions. I was just racking them up for being like late to class, stuff like that. I'll be late. I was constantly tardy because I was.
Call me to let me know these things.
Well, because they don't call you for detentions. They don't call parents for that. They just fill out the slip and it's a handshake agreement, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm late for class. I'm not doing bad stuff. I'm just late, right? 5 minutes here, there. Or it would be like other like little stuff like that. Like then Miss Carlson got into it. She was going through a divorce. The whole class like failed one of her papers. And I'll never forget. I raised my hand. She had just finished like, this is the worst class I have ever da-da-da-da-da. And I raised my hand and I said, no offense, but if a teacher gives her students a test and the majority of them fail, it says more about the teacher than the students. Stuff like that. So she couldn't write me up, but you're like on the bad list, right? Mm-hmm. So I get all of these detentions and I was supposed to go on this field trip for health with Coach Gomez. And Coach Gomez and Miss Javers were like this. Okay. They were really cool. And so Coach Gomez was like, you can't go on the field trip because, you have unserved detentions. And I had like 30, right? So you're not going to like serve them and be good.
30?
Well, at the same time, yeah, like 30. So at the same time, I was like vice president of the class. And so this teacher may still be a teacher, so I'm not going to put her out there like that. But the sponsor of student council, I used to like help her by grading papers. So like I would take papers home and grade them and stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about, Liz. And so I told her like, hey, I got these 30 detentions. Can you sign them for me? And she was like, yeah. So one day I'm told I can't go. The next day I go back and I'm like, served. Right? So I turned them into Miss Javers and she's like, how did you serve 37 detentions? And that's not even possible. There aren't even 37 days this semester that we even offered it. And right? You're not going. I don't care what you do. You're not going. I went to Dr. Morris. I went to her secretary. Excuse me. Can I get a meeting with Dr. Morris? Got it on the calendar. Went to talk to Dr. Morris. Dr. Morris, I don't know what Ms. Javers has against me, but I have served my detentions, and she tells me I cannot go on this trip. I don't know if it has something to do with race. I don't know if it's none of my business. I'm a student. I'm bringing it to you first because you say that you have an open door policy. And before I tell my parents about this, before I turn this into a big thing, I just really want to just get this resolved. Dr. Moore said, hold on a second. She goes over to her phone. She called Miss Javers by her first name. And she's like, now what's this with Darrell Douglas? And you could hear it through the phone. Like, oh, she just exploded. Check. I got to go on the field trip. So they were like teaming up because I would do stuff like, because how do you write that up, right? So I would do stuff like that. That's how they pushed me out of law enforcement. It was a coup, okay? That's what it was. But I would love to know, Mom, from you specifically. So my entrepreneurial road started very early. and I would ask you, you would have to like sign stuff as the adult in the deal. What made you give that trust so early? And do you remember any specific stories where you were like side eyeing an idea?
Well, of course, with the instrument.
Tell the folks about the instrument. See, a lot of these people don't know these stories, so I want to hear it from your perspective.
Tell them about the instrument.
No, tell the people about the thing.
Because at first I was like totally against it. I was like, boy, you gonna get me sent to jail.
Okay, for clarity, I joined the band at Westbury before I actually went to Westbury. Because remember, like at the time, and I think it still works this way. If you go to a magnet school that doesn't have cheerleading or football, you can play at that school. So I needed a trumpet, and single mother, like we were not going to Mars Music or H&H and paying for an instrument.
Right.
So I found one online on eBay. This is before Amazon took over. Long story short, I got a really good deal on it. I bought more and started flipping instruments on the side. The Green Sheet used to have free ad Friday, so I would do ads in the Green Sheet, this and that. And then it grew to where we were going to the schools, the middle schools, and so I was calling these places and setting up. Like I'm in high school and I'm calling. I'm like, can I speak to the band director? I'm faxing over like our price sheet, our rate sheet, and we had tables, tablecloth. We had little polo shirts with the name on it, and we would go to open house with sample instruments, and we would sell instruments to the band kids. And so that was. So before flipping other stuff, like that's where it kind of started. But mom would have to, like for the bank account or for the DBA or for the, like, we were a vendor with HISD. I went to HISD. It was insane. Yeah. Those were the days. Yes. Okay. So in closing, any questions for me before we close out?
I don't have
I guess what's the plan for the next 10 years?
Ooh, plan for the next 10 years. I never, if you would have asked me that at 18, I could not have dreamed 18 to 28. I could not have dreamt. And if you would have asked me at 28, I would not have dreamt. Like, you know, they say, how does the saying go? We make plans and God laughs. Like I'm just along for the ride. And yeah, I'm just gonna be obedient and go with the tide. But a whole lot more trips, whole lot more fun, a whole lot more music, live music, get-togethers, game nights, all the good stuff. Mr. Kua, you're muted.
I'm muted.
There we go.
Am I still okay? What I want to say is you were an unusual young man when I met you. And I remember you were real small and you said, I used to be big.
Yeah.
And I thought, really?
Yep.
But I will say this. You had the kind of manners that I knew that you were going to end up being somebody because you had a really good foundation. And I want to thank your mother personally. You know, I know as parents, we do make mistakes, but the mistakes that my mother made taught me more than sometimes the things that she did purposely to get me to see stuff. Because I was one of those kids like, oh, I'll do that, or I'm not doing that. But she still taught me, even though some things she hadn't mastered. But toward the end, she mastered her life. And I am just so proud, which teaches me never give up on anybody because they don't have or haven't learned or have no education, because she didn't have an education. Her mother died when she was 12. She probably, you know, had to raise herself and then married, have 10 kids and go through a whole lot of stuff.
Wait, your mom passed away when she was 12?
Yeah, her mother passed when my mother was 12.
Okay.
Yeah, she was pregnant with twins and she was on the porch. She was a singer and a poetry person. She would probably have been somebody famous one day. Her name was Pearl. And my mother had to kind of raise herself. So she learned a lot of things the hard way, but she was a person who wanted an education, didn't have one. So she educated herself. And so I saw her read and study and make decisions to walk away from a church at a time when people will go, Black folks don't lead the Baptist church, or Black folks don't lead that kind, and she did it. And so her doing that set the way for me to never march to anybody's tune.
That's right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My cousin Miguel just said, let's go dig up some tires. That was an ode to my mom's mom, Granny, who, and actually my mom's mom, Bama, who buried tires. I guess back in the day they had different ways of doing things, and yeah, they that's his way of filling in a story. One time we were over there and we had to dig up tires at Granny's house. So yeah, but thank y'all so much. I'm not gonna hold you too much longer. This has
I had to move to the kitchen, Jarrell. I had to move to the kitchen because I have two ladies that were so nice. They came in my office and laid down and meditatively looked at me like, we're hungry.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm cooking. I'm in here cooking for them.
Thank you so much, Courtney Grigsby. But
nice
so
seeing everybody.
Absolutely. And thank y'all for doing this. It really means a lot. I really like doing this because, we're really living in the good old days. I really truly believe that. I really truly believe that we look at the past with this romanticism, this like the good old days, and we don't realize we're living in the good old days right now. So in the midst of all the work that you do, all the emails you're applying to, all the texts and phone calls, all the responsibilities that you have, remember to pause and embrace the moments. Create memories. And while you're creating them, have you ever looked back at a memory and thought to yourself, man, that was so cool while it was happening? But now looking back at it, it's like, wow, like, no, live in those moments and take chances. We all get to do this thing called life once. The worst thing that could happen is you fall off the bike, but you'll never learn how to ride a bike until you fall off. It is part of the cost of admission. You will fall off. You will get made fun of. People will not understand your goals. They will not understand your vision. Those aren't your people. And the last thing that I'll say, giving a bit of my 38-year-old wisdom, think about the people with whom think about the people with whom you can have genuine conversations and they understand you and you understand them. Think about the people that you can share your hopes, your dreams, and your aspirations. Keep them near. Go through your text messages, your phone log, and look at each name and think to yourself, what does this person have me thinking? What does this person make me feel? When their name comes up on the caller ID, do I wince or do I smile? And then take that you have observed and do something with it. Because every year we know we're going to get hurricanes because warm water and wind or however it goes, hurricanes happen. So it trips me out when we hang with the wrong people, we go to the wrong places, we do the wrong things, and we expect somehow magic to happen.
Right.
Lastly, I will say you are the curator in the art exhibit that is your life. You get to decide which pieces stay, which pieces go, which pieces are spotlighted, and which pieces are put elsewhere. You get to decide based on the people that you allow into your space, the places that you go, and the things that you do. You know who, what, and where are your triggers. There are certain people you talk to them and your blood pressure didn't shot right up. Why are you answering the phone? Right? There are certain places that you go where you know you're going to spend a whole lot of money and you're not going to be in a good mood and it's going to slow you down because the next version of yourself whatever that is supposed to look like will require different decisions, different resources, and we're all driving the same 15-passenger van. You get to decide the people, places, and things that get to come along. And with that, good night.
All right. Good night. Be safe. Love you.
All right. All right.